So I lead in such a way where I'm distinction transformation leader. How my gym, everyone gets transformed. They walk in however they walk in, and everyone leaves proud of themselves. So my mission statement for the gym is we build fit, confident, strong, healthy minds and bodies and infect you with insane, happy, fun energy. I'm going to listen to what people say, but then I choose the decision. During COVID, people were like, you sure you want to say infect? I was like, yeah, I infect you with insane, happy, fun energy. That's the infect you want. So, and everybody does. Everybody leaves more energetic. Everyone leaves proud of themselves. Everybody, I say live like you were retired, not live like you were dying. People always say, oh, live like you were dying, like the Tim McGraw song. But if you live like you were dying, you might jump out of a building, jump off an airplane, like do things that could make you die. You were living like you were dying. But I say live like you were retired, and then you never work a day in your life. So I live to serve, I live to change people's lives, and I do it extremely well. In the giving is I get the receiving. So people thank me every day, and I say it's the blessing I get to have for the ability and the opportunity to serve and make a difference. So every day, that's my juicy, awesome life. So then I realized, let me write this book where I can only serve you if you come in my gym, but if I write a book, you can get it in New Zealand and you can get it in Australia, and wherever you are, you can read my book, and then I can really transform the world on the greatest scale possible and with grace and ease. Well, it wasn't so graceful creating my book. It was funny, there was a show called Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. It was like on a Netflix show, and the girl on the show was a writer. God, I was so grateful for her because she was running all over her house. She couldn't focus. She was like acting the way I was acting. I was so, just what I said about how you need inspiration. When you have inspiration, you don't have time. And when you have time, you don't have inspiration. I live on the water. My view is incredible. You would think like you'd write 10 books living in my house. And I would carve out a whole day of 8 hours, and I would literally spend it like this. I would just pick my nails and pray the time would pass by. I would be like praying the day would be over because I'd be like, oh, don't have time today. I got to finish. And then a wing and a prayer, right? You got to stick with stuff. You got to there was no way. I always say when you want to create something and you don't want to not create it, share it all over the place. Keep telling people. Keep it alive and real, and then they'll hold you accountable because all these people kept going, how's your book coming along? Oh, how's that book coming along? And I wasn't going to go, well, I quit, or well, I stopped. It would drive me. I would be like, oh shit, I really got to finish this book. Oh, I got to finish this book. I got to get on this book because everyone kept asking for the book. And I was like, oh my God, I'm taking too long. And it was, if I could say anything is traumatizing, it's writing a book. And not to discourage you from writing one, stick to it. It's just, it takes a whole other version of you to do so. So if you're thinking of writing a book, don't let me discourage you. Just know you got to stick with it and deal with the roller coaster of it's not easy. And if you're one of those person, and I'm not speaking to you, that it's like so easy, I love writing, I just sit and write, like, woo, good for you. I love it. I'm jealous. I am not one of those people. And many people are not, especially we all have a book inside of us and we all want to write a book, and then it's like, who is going to do it? And I'm not talking about ChatGPT writing your book. ChatGPT had nothing to do with my book. This is full self-expression and sharing my gift of service to the world of how I want to impact lives. And book, I guarantee, is the most wisdom per word. Everyone's like, I have ADD, I don't read. Good, that's who my book's for. It's for people who say they have ADD and don't want to read, because it's a one-a-day read, and you can open the book at random, read any rule you want. It's almost always the rule you need. And then there's the index, the table of contents. The table of contents is separated into the 101 rules. So you can literally look through the table of contents. The first rule is called always chase the perfect punch. But say I'm like, patience comes up for me a lot because I serve, nobody serves like me in my business. And then when I leave my gym, I get such bad service. It's the one thing that irritates me that I have to work on not getting so irritated, because I hate bad service and I hate just bad service. It's just people who are just not in the job and serving. Like if you're going to serve people, serve well. Like I always say, if you're not going to be 100%, go to bed. So, but you could look at the table of contents and be like, oh, be intentional. I want to read that one today. Or be strategic, or know yourself, or oh, okay, I need to refuse to lose or never give up or be in flow. And I'll read some more of these, but I like to open to any page. Like just now, I got don't get backed in the corner, and when you do, know how to get out. So I ended up writing this book. Like I said, I had index cards all over the floor. I started with the rules of 101. I didn't start with 101. I got to 101. And then I did, because I said YouTube, you almost will never see a motivational video without a boxing scene. It's always like Rocky or a champion or someone fighting and winning. And because who doesn't like winning? We all like winning. And boxers are one-on-one. No one's coming to save you. It's like you against the world. So I finally got all the rules down, and then I said I'm going to put a quote with all of them, a famous boxer quote. So to find the appropriate quote from the famous boxer that goes with each rule was no joke either. So I then wrote the quote on every card, and some I had more than one quote, so I had to like pick like which one's better, or which one will get across and hold you better. And then so then I have all the 101 together. I put them all together. I got this software called Scrivener, which is great for writing if you want to move the chapters around, because you can easily drag and drop as opposed to like writing it in Word. And then you want to like, I don't even know how I would do that, because writing in Word, you'd have to like cut, delete, move. And by the time you move it, you forgot where you cut it from and forgot where to move it from. And then you got to scroll and it's a mess. So Scrivener, or a writing software you would want. And always remember, when you watch my videos, comment with any questions that you have. Well, like the video first if you like it. You will, I hope. I know. I hate hopes for beggars. So I know you'll like it. Comment below with any questions you have, and then I can do newer content with your questions. And if your question's a good question, I'll give you good answers. Don't ask a stupid question. I won't do a video on it. If it's a good question, I'll do more videos on that one. So I used Scrivener. Then I started writing. So every rule has the rule, my a famous boxer quote, and then my breakdown on the right side. So you can open to any page and you get the rule, the famous boxer quote, and my breakdown. And it's all like that. Every single page is like that. So Mike Tyson wrote the back cover. And here's what Mike Tyson wrote. Mike Tyson wrote, inspired by her passion for boxing and love of service, Jolie Glassman has written a truly inspirational book, a blueprint for anyone that is ready to fight for a better life. She uses words and disciplines of great fighters like myself to train and motivate the mind into obtaining characteristics that boxers use for self-mastery, which include belief, discipline, repetition, and desire. If you are ready to fight for a better life, then there's no better coach than Jolie Glassman to have in your corner. Mike Tyson. So yay. And then the front was written by Muhammad Ali's ex-wife, who's like my mom. I love her. She is the greater behind the greatest by far. People are always like, oh my God, did you love Muhammad Ali? Was he the greatest? And of course, when I tell Mike Tyson, I like him more, not more or less. They're all great, but Mike Tyson he's just the greatest. The most amazing to engage with. And I tell him, no, you're my favorite. I like you more than Muhammad Ali. He cries. He gets so upset. Muhammad Ali was his idol, and he loves Muhammad Ali. And he actually got angry at me. He was like, no, he's better. He's very passionate. He's a Cancer. He was born June 30th. He's very passionate and very emotional, and he wears it on his sleeve, so literally. So anyway, Muhammad Ali, his ex-wife the mother of the 4 kids, wrote my foreword. And she's like my mom. Every month she sleeps over for like a week. She is the greater behind the greatest. She wrote, I'd like to say this is an outstanding young woman who knows the preparations required for fitness and for calculating good health and good food. Many, many people have come to her famous gym to visit, film, celebrate, and train. Greats such as Muhammad Ali, Angelo Dundee, Evander Holyfield, Roy Jones Jr., Bernard Hopkins, Lennox Lewis, Chris Bosh, Will Smith. Will Smith did the Ali movie in my gym. And many, many others. I offer a tribute to this woman who is an amazing person who has transformed the lives of tens of thousands of people throughout her 30-plus years of in-depth experience in fitness, health and wellness, business, education, transformation, inspiration, and leadership. She has her own 501c3 called Jolie's Kids, and she helps society and the community by assisting children and families in working out and doing healthy things in this world. Jolie is the queen and the owner of this world-famous South Beach boxing gym. She is loved, honored, respected, and admired, and I like to call her my daughter. I am so proud of her, all of her hard work, and the lifelong career of experiences that went into writing this book. I know it's going to be a game changer for teens, adults, both women and men. Jolie is all about making an impact and transforming lives. It's from Khalila Camacho Ali. So I wrote this during COVID because so many parents had their kids at home and they didn't know what to do with their kids because they never really had to educate their kids on their own. And there is no, I don't know if you have a private school where this might exist, but there is no public school where personal development, self-mastery, self-improvement, anything. They have this high school near me, Beach High, they have mental health day. I was supposed to be their speaker. I was like, I'm not speaking for one day. You're not going to follow up with it. There's not going to be results. You end up sending the kids to the office, ADD, all these meds, all these drugs. I know firsthand proof. I see the kids walk in my door and leave way exponentially more amazing, because when you make them sit and shut up, they're like despondent, and then they expect you to say that. They expect me to go like, don't speak unless spoken to, respect your adults, right? We don't teach the kids to be fully self-expressed and own their own power and speak up and use their words and ask questions. And I tell the kids, like, when you don't understand, do not leave your classroom until they answer your question. I don't care if they don't want to answer your question. Don't leave. Tell them I'm not leaving until my question's answered. So the schools have no personal development, no self-improvement. And I love how Joe Dispenza says, you don't work on a relationship, which I agree. Like, the only relationship you need to work on is the one you have with yourself. And if everyone is bringing their best self, there's nothing to work on. You don't have to work on your relationship together. You're your best. They're their best. You're only going to answer best. So it's the best project you ever work on is yourself. So great if you like fiction books. I don't. I love learning. I love being better. I know that every time I'm not being better, I'm getting worse. So I've been reading personal development, self-improvement. I've read over 750, and that's being light. I would say maybe over 1,000, definitely over 2,000 if you include audiobooks of Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Maxwell, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, like everybody that's in the industry of being better, mind, body, soul. And it's what made me better. I ran away. I didn't have the tools I needed to be amazing in this world. I learned from my mother who, I mean, God bless her, but she didn't give us good health. She didn't give us good food. She was great where she taught us manners and respect, and she was strict in that way, and we couldn't mess up, and we had to get straight A's. I was a straight A student, but what did I learn in school? Like algebra, chemistry, nothing that I can apply in the real world did I learn in school. So here I am, this kid that got straight A's, but can I apply it to anything? I was having a breakdown. They were giving me Paxil and birth control and everything for my behavior. Your emotional intelligence is the most important intelligence you can have. And you have to work on your emotions and how you handle your emotions and coping skills. I have all these honors kids that they can't even get through their day. They're having breakdowns. They're watching social media. They're shoving their finger down their throat. They're throwing up. They're depressed. They're on anxiety medicine. Good. They can solve an algebra problem. Good. They can do their chemistry homework. So what? They can't pay their bills and get through the day and function. And they're having nervous breakdowns because boys aren't liking them who they thought were going to like them. They have no sense of self. So working out and self-improvement are universal, age, not discriminatory. The parent can do it with the kid. The parents and the kids need as much fitness, as much health, as much emotional intelligence, as much mental intelligence as the kids do. So they need to bond. They complain they don't relate to their kids, which I understand. There's a big generation gap. So why not bond over things you can do together that's a similar language where you can speak the same language, like fitness. So my passion was always bonding parents and teens through fitness, through getting pushed through their limits, because when I get you moving and I get the juices flowing, I get you thinking better, and I want you thinking better, because emotion, energy, and motion, I need to get you moving so you have better emotions. So I want the parents and the kids to do it together. I'm not speaking like, oh, this is an idea, or why don't you take this thought? I'm speaking on tens of thousands of people I've transformed through 35 years, and none are left behind. You know that stupid thing that the school came up with, like no child left behind, and then every child got left behind, and there's kids in like the senior year that can't even read, and then, but I thought no child was left behind. Yeah, that was a fraudulent bullshit of how they passed the kids through, because they grade your school on an A to F, but they pay the teachers and the school that they get more funding if the school's an A, so the school doesn't want to lose their funding, so they get the teachers to give their school kids A's and B's when they deserve D's and F's, which is one of the big problems I had when I was reverse discriminatory and the only white girl in these all-black schools, and the principal would make me give this. She'd come in and say, why is the kid writing past the margins? I was like, because I'm teaching him to read and I don't care if they're writing past the margins. She would start picking apart everything because she wanted me to give them A's and B's, and I wasn't, because I didn't want them to pass behind, because if they were not reading, they didn't need to pass behind. And it wasn't called No Child Left Behind. It was called Needs to Read Before They Advance Forward. So I wrote these books during COVID so parents can do these with their kids. Most wisdom per word, set up for if you have ADD, because I don't want to sit there and read all this stuff. And how much can you take in at once anyway? Because I want you to take a little in and act, right? Actions are everything. There's only so much I can tell you that'll make a difference. But if you don't make a difference and take action, it's going to do nothing for you. So I did bite-sized stuff, open to any page. Like here, okay, I have patience. So I read this one a lot because, like I said, service and bad service, I need a lot of patience. I have to take a deep breath. I get these service providers on the phone that, like, they're subbed out to, like, I don't know, Korea or something. They're not speaking good English. I don't understand them. And I'm like, I need patience. So let's read this one. That's the one I opened to, number 43. So Dante Wilder says, having patience is one of the hardest things about being a human. We want to do it now, and we don't want to wait. Sometimes we miss out on the blessing when we rush things and do it in our own time. Then I put Anthony Joshua, another boxer. This one has 2 quotes. It says, don't worry about the title. Worry about what you got to do today, tomorrow, and the next day, and the title will be waiting for you, which is great, right? It's like, take step 1 before you think about step 20, because step 20 will be revealed to you when you're on step 19. I write in my book in another chapter, I always say God is like the rose petal thrower in a wedding, and he doesn't put the rose petal down until you're ready to step up. So we worry so much about tomorrow or whatever. Worry is always future-based. That comes from the past, actually. By the way, I'm going to take a little aside and let you know that your future gives you who you're being in the present, and your future is dictated by your past. And I know that was a lot to swallow right now, but if I told you you were winning the lottery next week, you would be ecstatic. You probably wouldn't go to work tomorrow. You probably would fluff off and be like, who cares, because you're winning the lottery next week. But that has nothing to do with what's going on right now. There's actually like 24 times 7, 75 to 100 and something hours in between. If I told you you were going to jail next week, you'd be miserable. You'd probably sit in your bed. You'd be freaking out. You'd be packing up your stuff. You'd be debating if you were like, how to leave the country. A lot of different things would be going through your head, but it has nothing to do with what you're doing now in the present. So we make meaning out of things because we're meaning-making machines. So things happen to us in life, and then we go, that's it, I'm never doing that again. Like when I was a kid, I got a 99% on a paper, and my mom said, why'd you get a 99? Why not 100? And in that moment, I had it mean, no matter what I do, it's not going to be good enough. And I filed it in the future for future reference, and then I thought everything I did was not good enough. And then the sad part is that people who came to me would show up as not good enough. So no one was ever good enough for me because my whole world was not good enough. And I know I'm speaking into your listening because a lot of us have the not good enough, not worthy enough, a lot what I work on with people. Yet, number one, my mom only said, why didn't you get a 99? She's actually right. Like, what was the missing point? What was missing? What could I do that would make it better? It had nothing to do with me being enough in the world of Jolie. Yet I filed it in the future, and my entire future was then determined by my past. It's because I took my past and I filed it in the future, and the future gave me who I'm being in the present, which was you're not enough and I'm not enough. So we got to get rid of that. We got to move ourselves out of our own way. So we don't want to worry about tomorrow. We need to have patience. We need to know. I constantly tell myself, Jolie, you don't need to know that now. God is like the rose petal thrower. Are you ready to step up? Nope. Then don't worry about the answer because it's not going to come right now. And if it did come, I wouldn't be ready to take action. So here's my breakdown for have patience. Life is never about what happens to us. It is always about how we react, respond, feel, think, perceive, combine, and stack those things that happen to us. Patience is the ability to accept delay without getting upset. It's the understanding that there is a process to everything. Boxers have long, hard journeys. They have to be like white on rice with their craft. They must be patient, as experience mostly wins, and they need to pay their dues big time. I always get upset and think it's disrespectful when people in their late 20s and older come into my boxing gym and say they want to fight professionally. I always say that's like coming in and saying you want to be Tiger Woods. Boxing is not easy, and getting to the top is not a quick journey. It is for sure a journey of more than 1,000 miles, and in order to be groomed as a champion, boxers need to start early, train always, fight often, and be patient, just how we want to be in life. We need to first be patient with ourselves, and then we can in turn be patient with the world around us and others. What is the rush? I say to myself. I have all the time in the world. I breathe deeply and fully, and I center myself into the generous present moment. It makes me feel so good. Worrying and lacking patience does nothing to help the process, and they bring nothing good or positive to the situation. Lacking patience is just not what works. I am a pragmatist. Pragmatism means doing what works, not what doesn't work. Practice what works and get rid of what does not work. It sounds easy, and it can be, but it may not be. Either way, it's a practice. Notice when you have patience. How do you feel? Also notice your breath. When you are relaxed, so is your breath. When you are not relaxed and you are overwhelmed, worried, or impatient, your breath is shorter. You are then living by the hormones of stress. Nothing good is there, so have patience, be patient, practice being patient, just like a boxer. Do your best and trust the process and have patience. So there's a lot to that, right? First, like most wisdom per word, it's short, it's quick, it's motivating, it's inspiring, and that's it. Let it take on your day and just be with that one for the day. I always tell people, because they want the audio, which I will do an audio, but they want the PDF. And I always say, the PDF is not, you can't flip through it. You want to be able to flip through it and have one a day. Like you do this and you open to the one a day. So I say put it by your toilet instead of your cell phone of scrolling and following other people's stuff, even if it's good content. It's like random. It's not what you look for. Or put it on your coffee table, or it shouldn't be called a coffee table. Put it on your water table so you don't have coffee. Why do we call a coffee table a coffee table? And then you read one a day with your morning routine. Put it wherever you do your morning routine and let it inspire you. One a day for the morning. Most wisdom per word. I don't add extra fluff. And no offense to the guy who did The Breath. It's such a famous book. Or even Atomic Habits. A great book. Millions of copies. But there's so much extra stuff in the book. I read the book Breath, and I had to read 250 pages, and I could have learned what I needed to learn in 5 minutes. He could have given me 2 pages. And I always get like, did I really need to read all that? And my book is, there's no extra stuff. It's like, get to the point. It's only to the point. I have a weekly newsletter called a 1-2 punch, and it's right to the point. It's a 1-minute video message to inspire you, and then it's 2 questions that are thought-provoking to ask yourself. So the answers are in the questions. I highly recommend subscribing to my newsletter. You can go to my website or any of my social media. You'll get it once a week. It's all for you. And like I said, I don't add extra stuff where I'm like sending you here to buy this, send you here to buy that, add this advertisement here. It's just for you to elevate you, because I'm so passionate in the value of work harder on yourself than you do on your job and life becomes easier. You are the best project and the only project really you need to work on, because when you work on making yourself amazing in all areas, mind, body, and spirit, everything will be amazing, because how you think and how you feel dictates your whole reality. So when you feel great and you are great, you're going to be great, and then the whole world is going to mirror back to you great. So why would you work on anything other than that? So I did these books for parents to do with their kids, to do one a day. And I say these books because there's a second book. So the second book is 1,000+ questions to ask yourself to become the champion of your own life. So the answers are in the questions, the best questions. And this is a curriculum for living like a champion. This is like how to be your future self now. So I always say you're the hero you've been waiting for. Like we have all these role models and heroes, and that's great. And you are it. You're the hero. You're the role model. You're the one you've been waiting for. So it's like the only reason we follow people because success leaves clues is to give us a clue to be successful. So you're the hero you've been waiting for. And then what is that future self you want to be, and who do you want to generate, and how do you be that person now in the moment, because now is what we have, and then you generate that. So just now I read you Rule 43, which was have patience. So then I have the book of questions. So this is like a journal you can use for the rest of your life. You can skip around. You don't have to, not all the questions might not, they might not all hold you where, whoa, that's amazing. But it only takes one. The one question that makes a difference for you will make the whole world different for you. So here's some questions for have patience. Number 1 says, are you a patient person? Do you most often exercise patience when needed? Explain your response. 2, where do you easily lose your patience the most? Why do you think that is? So like me, I answer my questions. I did all these. I lose the most patience with bad service. That's where it's like, ugh. Why do I think that is? It's because I give such good service and I want people to give me the same service, because when I go, it doesn't mean it's right. I shouldn't lose my patience, right? All that matters is how we react. And I think if you're serving, like, serve me well. I remember I went to this paint store and I wanted paint and I kept going in for quarts. It was like the 3rd time back I went for a quart of paint, and the guy's like, oh, we have a gallon. I was like, why didn't you ask me the first time? When you come to my gym, I ask you everything, not related to like, what did you do yesterday, but everything related to how I could best serve you and I move you fast. That way I know if you're coming from work, if you like yoga, if you like jujitsu, if you go home after. I need to know all your behaviors, because there's so low integrity in working out. Everyone says they want to work out and then they don't, and then they don't get the results, yet they say they want it and they don't do it. So I want to make it happen. I want to transform everyone's life. So I hold them accountable. I ask all the questions, and that's why I get upset when I go somewhere else, because I wish the guy would say, how big is the room you need to paint? How much paint do you need? Oh, okay, well, a gallon is a lot cheaper, so I wouldn't get the quart. And then I wouldn't come back. I wouldn't waste his time. I always tell my employee, every time you make a mistake, you don't realize the time implication it has that I pick it up, then I find it, or I didn't find it, and then someone else. It's like a trickle down of BS that it caused so much for other people. Be diligent. Like, pay attention to what you're doing. Do things right. Check your stuff over. You know, I was an English teacher in the inner cities, and the kids are amazing writers. A lot of them, they express themselves very well. So I was a teacher in the inner cities, an English teacher. And it's funny because the kids were amazing writers, and I teach people, even if you write a sticky note, like, why do anything less than amazing? Why get the 99? Why not get the 100? Why be less than amazing? Because it takes just as long to be as amazing as it does to be shitty. So either way, you're spending the time. So I would tell my kids, like, they love passing notes. It was middle school, high school. They like their girlfriends, the girls they want. I'd say, okay, you pass notes, it's fine. But if I pick it up and it's spelled wrong, I'm reading it out loud. But if I pick it up and you wrote it correctly and you were diligent about what you write, I'll pass it to the girl you want to, or whoever you want to pass it to. And that was the rule. And they all cared about what they were writing, and they all were able to pass notes. And I was the teacher that let kids pass notes in class because I was a writing teacher. Why would I not let my kids pass notes? It's like teachers do the dumbest thing. Like, I want my kids to talk in class because I want to hear what they have to say. I want to hear what's coming out of their mouth, and I want them to learn communication skills so then I can engage with them and interact with them and hear what they're interacting about and be their camaraderie. Like, I want to be their buddy that helps them and move along, and I don't want them to shut up. Then I don't know what's going on in there. So I want them to pass notes. I want them to be better writers. I want them to know it's okay to pass a note over and write a love note to your girlfriend, but don't spell it wrong. I'm like, then I would be like, you don't want to date this person because he can't spell anything. So be diligent about what you do. Then I have, is it a specific scenario? Is it with a specific person? Is it a specific time of day? This is the questions in the patience chapter. Number 4, where does this occur and with who and with what frequency? Number 5, what happens? How do you react? Number 6, how does that make you feel after you react in those ways? I could tell you that I get upset with myself. Like, I'm like, Jolie, you didn't need to lose your patience. Take a deep breath. Getting upset doesn't make a difference, right? But knowing doesn't make a difference. So it's like, what tools am I going to put in place to not get upset? I have to generate myself before I go into a place and just know that I'm 100% not going to get the service I give. So I have to, like, hang that up and know that they're not service, right? When you go to Walmart, they compete on price. They don't compete on service. So maybe if I go to a place that says they're great hospitality, then maybe I can, like, hold them to a little standard. But having expectations, and I say but to kill it off, right? The difference between but and is I'm adding on, but I'm killing off the first half, and I kill it off because I'm like, have no expectations, because it's only going to be me that's upset. So how would you prefer to act? I'd, of course, prefer to act calmly and not be upset, because either way I'm going to have to sit there through it or not and leave and then not get the job done. What needs to happen for me to act this way? I need to take a deep breath. I need to carry a book, go through my notes. Maybe that's the time to scroll. If I'm going to scroll at all, let me scroll at the time where I'm losing, when I would lose my patience, instead, I can use that time to scroll. And, if you're going to scroll at all on social media, do it at a time where you're going to lose patience in the store and you need to sit there and wait, or you're in a doctor's office and you don't have a book on you, or things like that. Not where you're like sitting on the toilet and you really should be meditating, because in the morning you want to like get on the toilet and get back to your bed to meditate, or outside. Okay. Who do you need to be and become to have patience with yourself, right? So, wow, that's a question that just impacted me. I love how my book impacts me back. Because really, like I said in the beginning, I need to have patience with myself before I can have patience with others. And I'm not really patient with myself because I want everything now, and I want to do it now, and I'm an overachiever, and I love to produce results, and I'm not patient with myself. So, that's interesting. This caught me off guard. Who do you need to be and become to have patience with yourself? Well, who I need to be and become is to work on surrender, and to work on letting myself know that Rome wasn't built in a day, and have patience with yourself and let it go and turn it off today, and tomorrow's a new day and today it's over. And the more patience I have with myself, I will have with others. I'll go look in the mirror after and say that's myself. Because, right, we're all works in progress, and I need more patience with myself, and it makes sense now that the more patience I have with myself is the more patience I'll have with others. I will get on that. This is why I read this chapter the most. For me, this is my issue. Who do you need to be and become to have patience with frustrating situations and or people? What conversations do you need to have with yourself and with others? And then when you be this patient way and you practice patience in these situations or with people, how do you feel? Of course, I will feel accomplished. I'll feel like peaceful, right? I'll feel like peaceful that I didn't get upset, which is a nice feeling, because who wants to be upset? Nobody wants to be upset. So and I'll feel proud of myself. I'll be like, wow, they gave me bad service and I didn't even give a shit. It was like, fine, I made it through the day. Or I like smiled, and I'm the type that like when I go in a store, I want to teach them a lesson and show them how to serve. And I'll say like, in the future when you do this, or how about you do this? Because I'm like teacher everywhere I go. So sometimes I'll be like, all right, I just thought it would be better if you let your people know in the future like how big their room is. Because then you could tell me to get the gallon before I come back 4 times and get 4 quarts. So this is 1,000+ questions to ask yourself to become the champion of your life. So that was one of the chapters of the 101. So this is 20 books on Amazon. You know what's hilarious? This is people, they come to my gym. Can I get a Gatorade? Can I get a Red Bull? So here they are paying like $7 to load their body with crap, which I hate that I even sell it, but then I make my customers upset, and I got to serve, and not everybody's going to be like me, and they don't want to be like me, and some people are like, screw it, I want the Red Bull. So I just go, here, drink this, it's not good. Every time I hand someone a Gatorade, I'm like, this is crap. Like, I feel obligated to let them know they're drinking crap. And then they're like, God, I really want to work on myself. I really want to get better. And then I'll go, oh, I have this book. It teaches you to be a champion. And they're like, oh, yeah, I don't really read. Or they're like, yeah, oh, $20. Oh, I don't know, $20. It's like, what? You get your whole life out of it. People screw themselves up themselves. If your life is screwed, go look in the mirror. You are screwing yourself. It's like, how could you not want to read like $20? This could cost $1 million. It changed your whole life. Like, what would you pay to change your life? And anyway, I don't get paid for my book. I get like $2 a book. Like the company makes all the money. When you don't write a book to make money, because you don't make money on your book unless you self-publish and print and do everything and you're the printer. Because you literally, I don't even think I make $2 a book. Make sure to sign up to my weekly newsletter. It's called 1-2 Punch. And it's a 1-2 Punch email because it's a 1-minute video message and 2 questions to ask yourself. I call it 1-minute video message because in between boxing rounds, there's always a 1-minute rest. So you take a 1-minute rest and watch the video, and then 2 introspective, thought-provoking questions to ask yourself. So you could sit with them throughout the day, and the best answers come from the best questions. So allow me to ask you the best questions and you will come up with the best answers. So make sure to sign up on my website or any of my social media channels.